Was it executed? Yes.
Oh yeah.
At low budget. Because, yeah, why not? We don't have Showtime behind us.
Not yet.
They're just like, hey, here's this money for a studio.
Yeah. Welcome to episode 1 of Beyond the Mat. This has been a very long journey to get to this point.
A rough one.
Rough one. All right. So welcome to Beyond the Mat, the podcast where we give you all things martial arts related and all things fight related. Because honestly, in this day and age where I feel like people are getting softer and softer, like it's very good to introduce some people to like hard shit and like what's harder than like putting your body on the line. Like there's a lot of stuff that's definitely harder than this. Like those people who do like the those endurance races where they have to like race across Alaska in like 30 days and they're like camping out in the wilderness
for no like given it reason other than just why not.
Yeah, like that's definitely harder, but like
mentally brutal.
But less people are going to be doing that than stepping into a gym of any sort, martial arts related or not.
Yeah, especially I think now too with the fact that how it's still continuing to grow in popularity, right? In every given area, you're seeing more jiu-jitsu gyms. Jiu-jitsu gyms pop up, MMA gyms as a whole, Muay Thai gyms even, right? Like now it's just getting more, I think, expansive as a whole, not just any given sect of martial art.
Yeah, I was actually talking to Sean Fagan just now. He said like Florida is uniquely positioned for Muay Thai because of the volume of Muay Thai gyms that we have here in Florida. Like the rest of the nation has like they don't even know what Muay Thai even is. They're like, oh, you mean kickboxing?
Yeah, there's a few pockets, right?
Yeah.
Like we all know. I think like New York, Chicago's got a little bit. California, of course.
Yeah. But it's New York City though. Like upstate New York, they have no idea
what's condensed. Yeah, it's condensed into a small few popular gyms. There's like a couple in Philly, of course.
Yeah. But
that idea of Muay Thai itself is still like we're lucky down here to have not just I think for Muay Thai, but the given martial arts scene that is in Florida. Like, at least where I grew up in Fort Lauderdale near Miami, there's a lot of martial artists down there, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, versus like in New York when I was coming up, it was all karate and taekwondo gyms, and like
phased out of that quick.
Yeah. when I left, like UFC, MMA gyms started opening up, but like like MMA competitions were still not sanctioned there.
No, right.
It wasn't until like 2015-ish, around that time, or 2018.
Yeah, New York was oddly late to the ball game on that one. Strangely enough.
All right, so who the heck are these guys, and why are you listening to us? All right, guys. So like I say, my name is Rex. I've been training Muay Thai for since 2018. Actually, I've hopped around from like gym to gym. I started at a jiu-jitsu gym that had a Muay Thai program. It wasn't an MMA gym in that they taught MMA. It was a mixed martial arts gym where they had like a variety of martial arts, but they never combined it together.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty
cool.
Yeah, no, it was really cool. It was my introduction to Muay Thai, and it was a lot of fun. Like I was hooked after the first class.
What other odd, like I want to say odd, but like did other martial arts did it include?
So they had boxing. Their boxing program was huge. They produced a lot of good high level boxers. They had a jiu-jitsu program and a wrestling program. And the Muay Thai was like, hey, we're just happy to be here.
Guys, we're in the corner.
Yeah, that's really what it was. They had like a whole area of like dedicated to boxing, a gigantic mat, all the way in the back left corner.
You see the guy with the tie shorts. Was
like just 4 guys just like throwing kicks and everything,
screaming real loudly unnecessarily. You're like, what are they doing?
Yeah, but so that was like my first introduction, and then I went to a MMA gym, which was really really cool. So I learned some MMA. Then I moved down here to Florida. Went to another MMA gym, and then I have some words about that gym. Not bad ones, some good ones, bad ones. It just wasn't the right one for me.
Yeah, and then sometimes through your journey, you have to find the right, coaches you blend with, the environment you blend with, the teammates and members you blend with too. It's all about finding your right environment. And there's so many gyms where I think there's a lot that will cater to any given individual, right? So.
And then now I've been at Tampa Muay Thai for the last 2.5 years, and it's been amazing, actually. So that's kind of like my background of like the gyms I've been to. Now as far as like fight experience, I have none. But like I've always loved martial arts since I was a little kid, just growing up like watching like Jet Li movies, Bruce Lee movies, Jackie Chan. Ong Bak blew my mind.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then
dude, I mean, you make up the given 99% of all martial arts gyms, right? In theory, it's like those that will probably never compete or compete maybe once just to try it out. Like, it's more so for the journey, not so much to be a fighter.
Yeah. Most martial artists will never set foot in a ring, and that's perfectly fine. Like,
or won't have the need to ever, and it's perfectly fine, right?
So that's my story.
Not bad. It's like it's like golf club.
Yes. I'm an enthusiast. That's all. Yeah.
I think it's how everyone is to an extent. Like even the ones that do fight, we are enthusiasts, right?
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'll.
Oh, you guys are animals.
Nah. Maybe. Maybe. But yeah, I guess I'm Joey. I've been training Muay Thai since I was about 16. So given 12, 13 years now. I kind of transitioned into it from sports like playing soccer and just wanted to do something a little more similarly with competition, right? But also more dependent on myself, right? I've like grown up watching boxing. My friend introduced me to MMA after we would always watch, professional wrestling growing up. And then he's like, yo, here's this other stuff where they like actually slam him on the mat and punch him in the head. And I'm like, yo, that's sick. And then eventually I stumbled into a chance to start actually training it. And then very quickly on, I found myself in a Muay Thai gym with under a gym called Dynasty Muay Thai, where they were affiliated with Kwasmer Gym in Bangkok. My coaches were Mark Trillas and Eric Rivera. I was shown by this guy, Joe Miller, who showed me Muay Thai first, and that was his coaches. So it kind of, made perfect blend once I got to their gym. It was kind of like when you first stepped into Tampa Muay Thai, you kind of just felt at home.
Oh, yeah.
That's how they treated me. They welcomed me in as this like, young 16-year-old, 17-year-old, just being like, hey, I want to try this out. See if I like it and good at it, and transitioned nicely. Yeah. And 10 years later now, right? I ended up in Tampa about like almost 4 years ago now, I would say. And I already knew one of the trainers there, Alex, and at the time, this other guy, Brandon.
Barrios?
Yeah, he knew my coaches. Okay. And then I knew Brandon from Jacksonville. We were friends, and I was like, well, I know these dudes, and I don't think there's anywhere else that I should be training. So I walked in the door the first time, and I'm like, yo, this is sick. And I started training there ever since. They were doing like a dope annual deal at the time for like under $100. I'm like, this is unheard of. It was $99.
This is pre-COVID.
Yeah, it's pre-COVID numbers.
Pre-inflation.
Pre-COVID numbers, and I was like, yeah, say less. I'm just gonna right here take me in, and then I got introduced to the fight team within about a month of starting, and got introduced to Dato, and been like one of my favorite coaches. One that I've grown under the most since I've started my journey. So
that's dope. All right, so so this being like the first podcast, so pretty much like the reason we started this is because so most of you who are watching this probably already know that I had a podcast, or I had another YouTube channel that I did a lot of interviews on, and you just kind of approached me like one day about a year ago, and you're like, okay, do you want to do like a more martial arts dedicated podcast? And I was really on the fence about that, actually.
I think we both were. It was kind of like one of those like ideas you just kind of throw at the dartboard and just like ask one of your friends. Yeah, it's kind of what I did. And I'm like, this kind of sounds like a cool idea. And I've always wanted to, get more comfortable with stuff like this. When I first transitioned to being an instructor, that was like the first hurdle I had to really get over. Was like, this giant group of people is looking at me for instruction. It's kind of weird. Not used to it. Never been in that position before. So I'm like,
tell me how to beat up my friends.
Yeah, it's very interesting. They all know you by name, and you have to remember them by name. And getting it's been a nice interesting journey the last year and a half or so. Becoming more comfortable in that position. Yeah, so something like this, I thought was like the next step to be like, hey, let me do something that's really, really awkward and weird for
me. Even though we've been on camera 4 times already.
Well, it was kind of the start for those too, right? I was just like, well, this sounds like a weird endeavor. Let me just do it because he asked, and I'm like, why not?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like
it was very interesting the first time we did it. I wasn't like here I go, can't wait to be on camera. That was kind of like, all right, I'll try.
I mean, you were natural. Actually, the first time this first time was awkward. The second time was natural.
Yeah, that first one was funny as hell.
Oh man,
we're just next to like the side of the bag, and it was like they were cleaning up right after jiu-jitsu or something like that.
Yeah, and they're being all loud and just
fantastic.
If you ever listen to people in the jiu-jitsu match talk, it gets raunchy real fast.
Real fast.
Yes.
We're the same, don't worry.
Yeah.
It's not even given in between competition
I don't
teams
know.
are the same, buddy.
I don't know. I've hung around both teams. I've hung around both the fight team and the jiu-jitsu team. The jiu-jitsu team definitely gets more raunchy.
Like physically, sure.
Both.
That's it on the mats. There's evidence. I see you guys doing things.
Yes. All right. So yeah. So I mean. So since you so when you first approached me about it, I was on the fence about it, and then as I was running the other YouTube channel, the more I thought about it, like as I kept making more videos, I found myself making more and more martial arts related stuff, and I'm like, well, I only have so much information to give. You know, again, I'm just an enthusiast. I'm just like I don't have much competition experience. And I feel like what I want to give to the world, in terms of martial arts, isn't in line with my experience. So, and I needed help, and I'm like, wait, like Joey has a world of experience. You've actually been in the ring many times. KO, you're the last guy with like the most beautiful elbows in the world. Sorry, Chase.
Violent. Yeah, Chase went up to me like later that month. Oh my god,
that bastard!
You should. No, it was appropriate.
Yeah.
Like his was, if not more beautiful.
Yeah.
Like the Warriors Cup belt. Yeah, that was nice. Nice timing for him.
Yeah.
And he got a teep to the face at the same time. Like I didn't get that in yet.
Look at it.
Yeah, I have to do that to the next one. But yeah, I think on that boat, it's like you're putting it on a platform, you're, as an enthusiast, bringing martial arts, your side of martial arts, your journey to a platform, and the people that like me, and then eventually, teammates of mine, and coaches, and so on and so forth.
Which brings us to like the topic of this week's or for our very first episode ever, which I wanted to do as a conservative. Two things in this episode. The very first thing is I recently lost a friend to, I believe, drugs and alcohol. They never released the autopsy report, but he was someone that I knew who actually did train Muay Thai for a little while through the Phoenix program. The family asked me not to mention his name, and so I'm going to respect that. But it was someone that I knew who definitely struggled, trying to form a community, and which is why I want to dedicate our very first episode to just talking about martial arts and what it does for the physical health, the mental health, community health, and just everything all together.
Yeah, how vital it is, for the individual, and how it creates a community in and of itself.
Yeah. So I was talking to Leao. So she's Leao. She's like this 5 foot tall, 110 pound fighter with like the craziest combos. Like she will piece a mother.
Southpaw.
She was a southpaw?
Yeah.
Oh dang.
Yeah, bro. Shout out. And crazy combos, amount of fight experience, lots of fight experience. Competing for the Freedom US belt.
Yeah.
Coming up soon too. So can't wait for that one. Having been former teammate, now that she's in California, but really excited to see that she's getting this opportunity in a rematch to get some nice exposure, right? That's a nice promotion to fight for.
She deserves it. So so the reason I bring her up is because she was on my last channel, and she said something that always stuck with me is when people join gyms, whether it's like a dance school or a Muay Thai gym or a martial arts gym or anything, they're not really paying for the gym itself. They're paying for the community that comes with the gym, because
that's a huge incentive, right? On the price tag, it's not just like, all right, I'm gonna show you these combinations. Like you build in a small family inside of this building, within the amount of like people that come in here.
Yeah, because martial arts schools, they're expensive. There's no two ways about it.
It takes a lot.
Compared like to Planet Fitness, where you pay $10 a month, or like Crunch, where you pay like $20 a month.
Yeah,
most MMA gyms, most martial arts gyms are like they're like $100 a month. Sometimes some are even $200 a month.
Yeah, I'd put it closer to that other number.
Yeah.
They kind of get not unnecessarily expensive because of the quality of tools that they're providing you, right? But it's part of our, I think, industry, right? Like, a lot of that stuff requires a lot of payment. The time, right? The value of the lessons you're learning, not just 1-2 kick, right? But the idea of bringing you into a new community, getting new friends and stuff.
Yeah. So like and the thing about like if I join like a Planet Fitness or a Crunch or any other like fitness gym. Like I don't go there and I don't become friends with everybody who's using the machines, using the weights. You know, like
I think it's more individualistic.
I'll see people there versus like when you join like a martial arts gym, like if it's a good gym, like there's a strong sense of brotherhood there. There's a strong sense of family there, and it's something that like all my favorite gyms I've trained at have always made sure to perform that.
100%, right? They make you feel a part of the gym, not just like you're just gonna casually scan in, work out for an hour, and then leave, and it's just you're bigger than something else, and it helps in so many ways, not just for like again the individual, but with everyone that is there, right? The ability to grow as a community.
Yeah, and with and I think like when so the reason I like to talk about that is because a lot of people they get intimidated by the price tag, but what you get with that price tag is so much. You get like an awesome workout. You learn how to beat people up, which is really important in this day and age. Because
I mean, it's a caveat, right? It's a little convenient. You get that
a lot of craziness out there.
You get to learn some ninja moves, right? But I think we were talking about for the fitness, like dear God, like it's amazing for the fitness. And then also just the quality of mental health it creates when you're consistently showing up. That's why I've been in it personally for however many 12, 13 years now, is because of that mental health aspect. The physical health is just convenient because I eat a lot of food, so I'm able to like keep myself in good shape while maintaining a lot of like this high calorie intake, right? And I think it is the convenience of martial arts, but for me it's always been for the happiness it like, brings me.
So so I gotta ask then, Joey, like what has martial arts done for you mentally in this last many years?
This made me I feel like a little more rational in my decision making, which is good. I'm more I guess like I said, like not in the dark places as much, which is great. It keeps me away from it makes me just naturally happy. You get that endorphin rush. You're around, you said you're around like your teammates, your brothers when you're getting ready for a fight. That in a good way that changes you. Like every single time you go through that, it's nice. You learn some lessons about yourself when you're training that hard. And then it doesn't have to be just obviously for like fight camps and fighters, but for me it's always been like it gives me a reason to get up in the morning, go through my daily tasks. And before I was an instructor, it was like, all right, I can't wait to go to the gym. It would having that at the end of the day was nice because I was able to put in order the things I had to do, and then at the end whatever slightly negative or bad negative things were going on that day or during that time in life, every time I stepped in there it just kind of like disappeared, and it kind of was able to figure it out mentally while I was training, while I was sparring, while I was kicking those pads, right? So I think that's what it did for me, a lot of positive mental change.
For sure. No, I get that too. Like I know, like when I have like a rough day at work and I'm like I don't want to freaking do anything, and there's days where like I leave work, I'm like I'm not going to the gym, but then I just have to drive by the gym on my way home.
Hey, that'll help you.
I literally go, all right,
that'll
cool.
help you.
I literally go, all right, 1 block over is Tampa Muay Thai right now.
Go this way. Like quick right left turn.
Yeah, look around, make sure Damien's not there, make no one can see me driving away from the gym at 6 o'clock.
Oh god.
Yeah.
But no, I appreciate it a lot for that. That's why I guess I've stayed in it for so long. Also because I get to eat a lot of food.
Yeah. Well, why do you work out? So I can eat. Why do you eat so much? Because I work out.
Because I work out.
It's the greatest infinite loop ever.
Yeah. But how about for yourself, man? Like, what has it done for you these last 18 years for yourself?
I'll tell you what it did for me this past week.
Well, there you go. Yeah. Keep it recent.
Yeah, Thursday when my friend passed away, I was really sad, understandably so. And I wasn't gonna come to the gym, but then I came to the gym anyway, and I just sat in the corner watching like you and Jake like beat each other up. I'm like,
we were doing sparring drills.
It was really cool. And then like and then the class, and then jiu-jitsu started, and then I was taking the jiu-jitsu class, and I was just really quiet and stoic the entire time. Everybody sensed it. They're like, all right. Because Rex is usually the loud and obnoxious, rambunctious one who's always the smart ass asking dumb fucking questions.
Normally.
Yes.
Yeah, so when you're silent, you come in all quiet and stuff, it's like people gonna start asking why.
Yeah. So Armando actually went and just like he just kind of like just like started playing with me, trying to get him to smile, right? But I wasn't having, so I just like kind of like mushed him really hard in the face, and like, yeah, and I felt and I felt bad because I'm like that's no, it was hard, and he felt some kind of way about it. Actually, I could tell, and I'm like, that is not the way I'm supposed to respond right now.
Mm-hmm.
But then like, so we just like sat on the other side of the mat for like 10 minutes, gave each other space, and then we came back to each other. I'm like, yo, Armando, I should not have reacted that way. I apologize. And he's like, bro, you're going through something right now, and I can see it. I shouldn't have horsed around with you, you know. And then like, even though we just had we just like we were like this close to actually like getting to beat each other up. And when I say beating each other, I mean Armando tying me in a knot and like sending me out the freaking door,
grappling you as his willpower, and then deciding what he wants to do.
Yeah. But then like, but then like you know, like you have that friend where you guys just look at each other, you don't exchange words, and in like half a second you have like a full conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what happened. Like, yeah, we said words, but like the underneath the words, like we said a whole lot of other things as well that didn't need to be said, but we kind of understood.
Yeah, that's good. Like that's good having. It's a good sign knowing that it's like you have that good chemistry with your coach, where you're like, you're not just a student. Like you've been, you're more friends, you're more family with that instructor. Yeah. Like they're able to sense if you need some space, if you need someone to talk to, if it's like you're going through a trouble time. Like that's what's also the benefit of like these martial arts gyms, Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, or everything, right? Like it's you got people there that have gone through some stuff themselves, and they're able to help you in a way, whether it's like indirectly like that, where it's just like the little bit of words meant more than just nothing. Right? Yeah.
And then and I told him like, I told him what happened to what I was going through. He's like, I get it, man, and he's like, just do your thing, and then let me know if you don't want to roll. So I didn't roll that night because I would not have been able to control myself. I would have hurt somebody.
Yeah, you're in a state of mind of you're just not like paying attention, regardless of you're not really reckless, but you're like your awareness is not there.
Yeah.
So it's like it's better. It's good that you showed up. Mm-hmm. It's also good that you didn't roll and put yourself in that position with other individuals.
Yeah, I would have like beat the crap out of Scott on accident or something.
You're like, my bad, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, and so like
it's nothing personal.
But like just having that space and just being around people and was just it allowed me to, like, while I was just running through the drills, I actually asked myself for like the first 15 minutes of class, like, why am I doing this? Why am I here? Like I'm 35, which is old for an athlete, especially one who's just a casual. Like it's, like this. I'm like, why am I doing this? There's like a million other really cool things that don't destroy my body quite as hard. Why do I do this? Like what am I trying to prove? Like who am I trying to prove to? Am I doing this for me, for someone else, for a little me? And then I'm like, you know what? I just fucking love doing this. I love martial arts. I love that it tests me. I love that it gets me focused, because there is nothing that will make you focus like a 215 pound big Spanish guy who's really strong. He's trying to choke you out. Like, you will focus like no other time when that man is on your back.
Carlos does that to you, really?
Oh my god, oh, dude. But like even that, like when AJ's like punching me in the face, I'm like, okay, I gotta focus right now, and
yeah, dude.
And
it's all about keeping calm,
And I feel like in this day and age, where like everywhere we look, there's a screen. You guys are watching this right now on a screen, like it's so easy to just forget what's going on right now, and it's really great to have an activity that brings me into the present. More, without actually sending me to a war. Like, I experience danger, but I'm not in danger, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah. I think it makes a lot of sense to a lot of people. Yeah. Certain fitness activities.
Yeah, and that's really great for like activating your primal senses, something that we barely do in this day and age.
Yeah, competition, not just competition, but like training for it in that sense with martial arts or combat sports, however you want to like classify it. The training will put you in, like you talk about rolling, you got to grapple dudes that are significantly outside your weight class as teammates. And thankfully, hopefully, they're got some level of control, and yeah, they're gonna probably like take you down and just lay on top of you for the good minute, those 5 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
But at some juncture, you'll figure something out in that instance of suffering. How to strip it away, how to like distribute your weight. In my sense, it's like when how am I gonna figure out dealing with the pace of a certain teammate sparring, because they might have to deal with that in the ring, the cage, right? Versus someone who's going to be a little bit more, they don't really throw with bad intent, but they might have, heavier shots.
Something happens.
So, but I might be training, I might have an opponent that's a power puncher, right? So that's good having that kind of like person who's got, rocks for hands for some reason, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're able to you get used to it, right? You're able to figure out a strategy and a game plan to overcome it, whether it's by yourself or you and your coach doing it during the camp, right?
Yeah.
So that's like a huge thing of having like a good team behind you, or like a good support group behind you within that gym.
Mm-hmm. I think one of my favorite things about Tampa Muay Thai specifically is Emmy, because her and I, we actually arrived at the gym in the same month.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That's dope.
So I literally watched her from day one.
Nice, dude. Yeah, her progression is insane.
Yo, she picked this up crazy fast. And she went from like...
Shout out Bobby.
Yo, my God. it makes sense. Like, oh, who's your husband? Oh, that guy who also beats people up.
My dude, my bad. Yeah, good guy.
Yes. Shout out to Bobby's, man. We love you. But yeah, like just seeing her from like throwing like the worst punches to like her last fight where she like just destroyed that poor woman. And
yeah, beating up the heavy bag for 3 rounds, it looked great.
Yeah. Heavy bag with legs.
Yeah, that was a nice debut. Better, honestly, one of the better ones. Her and was it Ali on that day? That was nice.
Ali got a TKO, right?
Yeah, I kicked the dude that I don't know why he was fighting. It looked like he was me fighting up at 175, and I'm like, ooh, dude, that's not gonna be pretty.
He didn't want to cut weight, I guess.
Hey,
yeah, yeah. We'll talk about weight cutting in a future video, but
yeah, probably.
Yeah, but I mean, so yeah, like so like the community aspect, the mental health aspect, and the physical aspect, like, dude, like I haven't touched a weight in years.
I just started touching them again.
Yeah.
And that it's been helping out some of my like chronic injuries from training for competition for so many years. It's like, adding a little bit of like supplementary strength routine and like supplementary weight routine throughout like pre-fight camp, has benefited me extremely. So odd inverse, right?
I mean, fighters.
Granted, when I started, I went the flip too, right? Like I stopped touching weights a lot. Like I was less going to like the gym when I was up in Jacksonville for a few years. Like I wasn't going to the school's gym as much because I was, doing like 2 days at the MMA and Muay Thai gym, right? So I'm like, there's no need for me to go lift weights. So I was just like, well, I guess I can skip this today. I was like finding an excuse to not do it as well. So I was like, well.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's a lot. Like I hear a lot of mixed things from like coaches, fighters, and guys like all over the place who are about why you should and why you shouldn't lift weights for fighting. It's always
extent, right?
It's very multi like faceted. Like everybody has a different opinion on it.
Yeah,
and everybody's also right, and everybody's also wrong.
Yeah, like I would say it's not like absolute to be like you should never lift weights.
Yeah,
as a fighter, like what standard weightlifting is very good for the human body, so it's not like it's a bad thing to do. I wouldn't say go crazy with it, but if that's your thing, if that's how you maintain your fitness, it's not the worst thing in the world, right? So adding it in as a fighter, and how you add it in too, right? That's the main part. Like if you're doing like strength for fight fitness, that's probably going to do you better than just doing standard,
benching 350.
Yeah, or squatting, whatever it is. Whatever the giant number is nowadays that people try to hit.
I mean, dude, I actually met this dude. He's 165 pounds. He squatted like 450. I was like, what the heck?
I was gonna say like.
He's also a pro power lifter.
Well, sure, but so I guess that's when you go into the aspect of at that point, what is it? Is it for sport? Which it is.
For him, it is.
It's sport, so versus sport versus like health, like like fighting. That's what I would put fighters under. We don't do fighting for health.
No, there is nothing healthy about fighting.
Like our level of doing martial arts for like competition isn't per se for like health purposes, even though there's that encompassing aspect under it, right? Like this is good for your mental health, but it's also like, hey, this guy might tear my knee.
I would actually even go as far
This
as
guy might knock me out.
far as to say is that training for a fight or a competition is probably worse for your health because of the beating that you put on your body.
You usually have to take rest days afterwards, right? Like even in like football, soccer players, right?
Yeah.
All of us can like do some kind of level of recovery after a competition or like a game.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
All right. All right. So the type of people that get into martial arts is usually one of three type of people.
Only three?
Yeah, I want to hear your
I
perspective
can
on this
add.
one.
Okay.
All right, it's either people who sucked at other sports, people who got their ass kicked growing up,
Maybe.
or both.
That's so little. I feel like there's so many more people that get into it.
All right, what are the other ones?
Like you don't have to suck at sports to get into it.
You don't have to.
Yeah, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like a douchebag, but Greg Hardy. I don't want to use him as like a solid example of a human being, but as an NFL player, he's just like, yeah, I'll try to do this, and did decent.
Yeah.
Not like great, but he got into it enough.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you have to be totally like terrible at other sports.
I guess the third type would be just be the hyper competitive ones who are looking for another
Maybe
mountain to conquer.
Add into that,
But I feel like they're the
like not just terrible, but like add in like, well, were you able to make it through those humps of like the football system in America, or like soccer going through like me, like I got into like private high school where the soccer program was very political, and like getting on it was very difficult if you just played in like the local city leagues, and I'm like, okay. And I literally talked to like the coach one-on-one, and he's like, yeah, no, it's like you probably won't get like on it. So it was really like up in arms about being a soccer player, right? Because of that moment. And that was when I first started high school. So it was kind of like, oh, this is kind of shitty to find out.
That's very disappointing to find out.
Yeah, when you find out it's just like a political sport growing up, and not like in a bad way. Just like these like certain players are groomed, certain aren't. Like if you go, like I wasn't doing travel. My parents weren't paying for me to do travel soccer throughout the state of Florida, so just little things like that. And then like I would say more like so take the American like football system. You start in like pee-wee leagues, a little tackle, work your way up. You try out, get to the varsity high school team, and then from there, like, well, how good are you playing on the varsity team? Are you getting scouted by college teams? And it's like, all right, what division is scouting you? D3, 2, or 1? Like, all right, what Division 1 teams are scouting you?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Let's say you got into like let's say you got USF, right? Let's see if you got into USF, which is by no means a good like football program. So all right, now where do you go from there? Like like just like as soon as you keep working your way up, just the minimal ability to get to that next step decreases so much, right? So
and the coaches don't want to invest in you if you're not gonna
if you're not performing with the right numbers, right? So they just not even look at you, right? Some people have connections to like beat those and get their way through if they're like mediocre, right? If they have like family name or come from a good like school or got money behind them, right? Things like that will help, but yeah, it's kind of how it is.
And what about the people who got their butts kicked at one point or another?
Well, do they consistently? I mean, I feel like they will find themselves in martial arts, but do they consistently find themselves in martial arts?
The one who the founder of Arjun did.
Well, yeah. I mean,
he got into a bar fight, and
I was gonna say like I did not, but did. Like I mean, I was picked on growing up, but it wasn't when I made that transition into gyms. I mean, I was like bullied, if you will.
Yeah.
But it was when it was like early elementary school, so you're talking like kindergarten, first grade, second grade. At that point, kind of dealt with those kids, and then it's like, oh, if you just kind of like hit them, it's like they kind of stop looking at you, and I'm like, this is how it works, and it's cool.
So you did have like a inkling that like, hey, like I want to fight them back. some way somehow.
Oh yeah, subconsciously, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like I was like, well, there's no other way to. No one's helping me out right now, right? Like, like,
Yeah.
other than myself. And then there was one moment with a particular kid where I just like punched him in the stomach after he was picking on me enough, and then he stopped picking on me, and it was like,
Most bullies
like that
don't
was
know how to
like
fight.
first grade, so I was then like kind of figured that out naturally of like, well, this is just kind of how you know maintain your safety from someone who's trying to pick on you. It's like, right, instead of like trying to go to someone and beg for help.
There's actually
they're not going to really help you.
You actually see the I don't know if you know, but you actually see the same type of behavior amongst like gorillas and primates. Because like people, like a lot of people believe like in the animal kingdom, the biggest animal is the one that leads the pack, right? It's actually not like that amongst primates. It's the biggest ones don't actually always lead the pack. It's usually the ones that can fight the best and protect the entire group. And usually the big ones actually don't even know how to do that because they're used to people not finding them or gorillas not finding them because they're so big. So it's like the ones that are like
they don't have to fight.
So it's the ones that are in the mid range that learn how to fight.
That's funny.
That end up actually leading the group of gorillas. So it's actually you see the same type of behavior.
That's
so,
funny.
So yeah, like the bullies don't know how to fight. But when they do learn how to fight, oh my god.
Yeah, it gets kind of like shitty when you get like a bully who's like an asshole of a human being who then learns how to like, it's not really defend themselves at that point, but you know, they learn martial arts and they learn how to like be offensive. It's kind of interesting. Hopefully the journey fixes that part of their brain to become like a nicer individual within martial arts, but how often does that happen?
Unfortunately, you and I both know that there's a lot of high-level martial artists who are also not good people.
I was gonna say, like, how often does that happen is like what's super rare, right? Like,
Yeah.
the system doesn't really like. I don't think it prevents. I wouldn't say it prevents evil, you know, in a given individual.
I mean, the system incentivizes people to go out and beat the crap out of each other. You're not exactly a good human being if you actually truly enjoy doing that.
No.
Like you can enjoy the process of getting better as a martial artist, enjoy the process of improving your technique, getting your physical fitness up.
And then they get in their car and then they go do some violent shit.
Yeah, but
that could happen too.
But the desire to actually go out and actually like put your hands on someone for 15 minutes or 25 minutes, depending on your sport, and actually hurt them requires you to tap into a really dark side of the brain that a lot of people aren't even aware of.
Yeah, you gotta definitely, you know, get somewhere mentally in preparation for actually like fighting, right?
Yeah.
I'm worried about the ones that are already there. Mentally, like they're already in that dark place, right? Yeah. And like, I don't know if this is like, could they bring it out of them consistently? It kind of, like, honestly, it doesn't really show to do that a lot when you talk about like fighters. You know, get some top level fighters throughout at least the given like 21st century, from like what I know, is like some of them are bad people committing horrible acts of violence against others, you know, fraud, stealing, what have you, right? Like, it's very bad.
Some of them do hit and runs against pregnant ladies.
Dude, it's John Jones, man. you know he's the exception in the MMA community, right? Like, come on, dude. Like, everyone else, it's like, nah, John Jones, pedestal.
Yeah. Some of them also like punch other people outside of steakhouses.
Was that Perry?
No, that was Masvidal.
Well, didn't Perry also do it outside a steakhouse to that old man that was like, "Oh, you gonna call the police?"
Yeah,
and then,
he did.
Dude, that was still funny.
And then Connor.
Oh man, it's okay if you don't want to take a shot of whiskey, right? Like,
I'm gonna give him proper 12 and a proper beating. Yeah, but so I've always wondered like should there be a case for people to not train martial arts? Like if you have like a history of demonstrating that you're a questionable human being with questionable values and ethics, should we be teaching you how to beat the crap out of people?
I mean, so initially you would say that probably goes on the individual, right? But that given individual probably doesn't have control over that. Like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna take my way from martial arts gyms. Like, so I think you got to be on it as like a gym owner or not members, but like, you know, employees of the gym, like instructors, knowing like who's coming into your gym, right? Like, are these like people who have bad reps, like, and that bad rep isn't like, you know, if you're trying to get over something, like, you know, that's, you know, recovery, right? As part of recovery is getting you something to help you, overcome those past abuses. But if it's like you're doing something, a violent history, right? You go out and casually like vandalize things. You steal shit. Like, it's like just the obvious like negligent things to society. It's like kind of don't want those people in your gym. They're gonna suspect that they're probably gonna do some suspicious things there at some point, right? Mm-hmm. Whether it's like they put on a facade for a certain juncture, but at some point it's like bad people are still gonna be bad people.
Yeah. I feel like as a gym owner or as like a coach or whatever, if you teach these people who already have a bad intention, who already know how to tap into the dark places in their mind that most people don't know how to, and you give them the tools to be a killer fighter.
I was gonna say,
there's a huge shot that they could enter their highest levels, and that becomes like bragging rights for you. So, as an owner, as a coach, what do you do?
Well, I mean, like as I said, like if there's a person that has a given history, it's like you don't want them in your gym.
But this person's gonna make your gym look really good when they when they KO when they become the light heavyweight champion of the world.
Unfortunately, I would say fortunately, when it comes to like the martial arts community, most gym owners still fall on their morals and ethics.
Yeah,
and that's not gonna override that, like. And that's just also, I will put that into like also my personal experience too. I'm sure there's gyms, like I said, they're out there that would be like, yeah, fuck it, you're gonna bring us in 3 world titles. We don't care if you beat up people on the streets. Like, there's gonna be gyms out there that are like that don't care. They're just MMA hubs that are just gonna bring in whoever, and don't care about their history or their past, where they're from. They're just going to be like, all right, yeah, this is going to facilitate our, big building in Coconut Creek again. I mean, what? Sorry. Just kidding. I'm not really kidding, but, there are gyms out there that are like that they're just money hubs, and they don't care about your past because you're going to come in, you're going to give them a percentage or purse of, like, your next fight coming up. So they're just like, all right, dollar bills, here we go. Boom.
There's a lot of boxing gyms that function this way, actually. Like, most boxing gyms that I'm aware of.
They'll kind of like brush aside after like legal proceedings happen or happening with like certain fighters, and they're just like, well, we're gonna get 20% of this 15 million purse. So so like they do the shoulder shrug, right? I think.
I mean, it's tough because gyms aren't exactly a highly lucrative business.
Oh, not at all. They kind of sustain, if anything. Like what they hopefully they break even consistently. So if not, there's especially at first you're expecting huge losses. Like it's just kind of common in like the fitness world, especially in the niche market of the fitness world, right? Mm-hmm. So I mean, if you are in that position and like any given example we could probably put forth, if you give some people enough, money, enough power, they'll take it, right? So appreciate those that turn the other cheek on that, right? Or they just kind of look away. That's kind of like you got to commend that a little bit. Some instructors, some gyms.
So I guess we should be. Well, I mean, at least I'm very thankful that gyms are very diverse, and that at least here in Tampa, there's so many gyms to choose from.
Oh yeah, a lot of good different varieties. And a lot of us will suggest each other too, like, to find their own fit. So it's not like there's no huge, stupid, like, drama at Turf War going on. Like you'll get in some areas where they'll have, like, gym rivalries and do smokers or do events based off of, like, gym versus gym. We prop each other up and support each other as we get bigger fights, because the scene is blowing up here in Tampa. And it's really awesome to see guys, win who are, like, at the UFC level, where you have like Billy Q coming out and Frivola, we'll take him too, even though he's technically also like what was it up there? He trains with the Long Island dudes. Mm-hmm. He's kind of ours too, right? But oh yeah, man. I mean, he put out the granite chin of the lightweight division last night.
Yeah.
Oh, that was amazing.
Dude, there were so many good fights.
Yeah. Shout out to a Tampa guy.
No, Tampa's definitely coming up as I definitely feel like Tampa's coming up as the next martial arts center of the United States, at least on the East Coast.
Yeah, a lot of people have been moving here. Yeah. A lot of gyms are blowing up, right? Mm-hmm. So Hey, like I said, that's good.
Yeah.
I like it, dude. I like that the gyms are getting bigger.
Extra
And-
competition.
Well, no, just it's I wouldn't call it in competition in that sense, but like in a business sense, right? It's like this gym gets more members, and then some people are gonna come to this other gym because it's like they're like, hey, I want to try it out, and then they become members with you, and then you get more members, and then everyone kind of slowly grows together. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was talking to my buddy Andrew. He trains boxing over at Mayweather on Del Mabry, and he used to do kickboxing fights back in like 2004, 2005, like that era.
Oh, was he wearing like the long pants?
He was,
and
and
is that era?
and he said
sorry.
like, and he said like, yeah, there were no sanctioned fights.
Yeah, what was sanctioning back in
Yeah.
2004?
So like whenever there was like a fight where a bunch of fighters showed up, it was literally a guy's backyard or like a bar somewhere in like the back.
You're hoping they put a ring up.
Yeah, and
I've only heard stories.
yeah,
Yeah.
oh no, he said one of them like they didn't even have like a proper ring. It was just like a mat on the ground, and then it was like, and they had like ropes that were like tied around like beer kegs. And
Nice.
Nice. It was like so ghetto, so janky, and like, and the ref was like just like the bar owner.
Hey, you get people watching street beefs on YouTube, so hey,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter the arena, right?
Yes.
Quality of fights.
Yes. So from like that to like, I know we bitch and moan about some of the promotions around here, like Lily Code and Ali, but like at least from like what it was back then to like where it is now, like huge.
There's a lot of changes. Yeah,
Huge improvements.
we get the elbows now in Muay Thai fights,
Look at the elbows.
and there's no
You
no
can
head-
throw elbows.
there's no headgear, or it's like, or at least it's optional.
It's
right?
optional. Yep. It's you and your opponent agree upon it.
And it's like it's pretty cool. Before it's like you had to put that shit on, and it's like, well, I can't see anything anymore. Yeah, and you start hoping for the best. But yeah, there's a lot of progression that we've had definitely since you mentioned 2004 time.
Yeah.
Jeez, and that's like my coaches were fighting like 2008, 2010,
Mm-hmm.
and even then they were saying like not like a little better, but some of the same stuff. Like yeah, it's like Muay Thai in Florida has been. It's just like, oh, here's kickboxing with clinch.
Kickboxing with clinch.
Up until like 2020 when they allowed elbows in the state of Florida. I think that's when we finally got it.
Oh, just in time for COVID.
It was either 20 or 20. I can't. It was either the start. Yeah, I have to remember the time frame, but it wasn't that long ago. It's like cool. Now we have the option after 3 fights to throw elbows or not.
That's pretty dope. All right. So, other than your mental health, what has martial arts done for you individually?
Kind of a lot of friends. Good network too. Like I guess those things go in tandem with each other. Friends / great network, like big network. Like, there's people that you know, right? Like random dude that roasts coffee that will hook up the gym of coffee, right?
Yes.
I know random people that are no local car mechanics or that were a mechanic, right? Back in the day, it's like, dude, just a small amount of like random individuals, like the amount of random like lawyers that I know, and like me then knowing like the all different types of like law you can practice and being like, oh, that's random, weird. It's a lot of different things. Like just knowing all these different people, learning about all these different professions, their backstories, like
Systems engineers.
yeah, system engineers, right? Like just big ones, just like the things, the little, or I guess I wouldn't call them like maybe little jobs, but jobs you maybe not hear of every day that have extreme like importance or relevance to a community or a society as like a bigger picture. You meet all those random people in a martial arts gym, dude. It's weird.
Yeah. Like, where else can you find just like such a diverse group of people with like different sets of skills and talents, all just
A restaurant or a cafe.
yeah,
That's about it, right?
yeah, like
Maybe a church, but isn't that like a dying reference? But
like on one hand you have like a CEO of a company of like that does like 80 million a year, and and then right next to that person is like a McDonald's server
or a local barista,
or a
or
local
like you're just
barista.
making coffees for like whatever 12 an hour, and you're like,
Yeah,
hey,
and then across from them is like a IT guy, and next to them is a programmer.
right?
Yeah,
I was to say that the diversity of occupations and like career paths that you meet, right?
Yeah.
Inside a martial arts gym, it's cool.
Yeah, because fighting is literally the most primal thing that you can do. Actually, making babies is the most primal thing you can do. Martial arts is right.
That's I was gonna say
Martial arts is right behind that.
It's like we're a good second place, a good solid second place.
Yeah, but like but yeah, and like and it just brings people together, because it's actually what we're supposed to be doing. Rewind the evolutionary clock 200,000 years. We were fighting for our survival.
We're just moving around too. If you want to break it down to baseline and not just fighting as a whole, but just
we're competing, moving, horsing around.
We'll just movement. Like humans, even through the part where we got more civilized, right? Mm-hmm. Through creating structures around us to protect us from predators and being like, oh yeah, now we're a little safer. We still enjoyed significant movement, right? Like it wasn't like, all right, now I'm just gonna jump on this little thing and in 2 hours I'll be across this country, right? Like in the air. It's like, no, that's like a recent concept, right? Like even car transportation, a lot of that stuff, like the idea of I think movement slowly but surely got decreased over time, right?
So when you say movement, you mean like physical, personal movement?
You wake up, you go do things outside, like you go for me growing up is like the latter part of people who I guess we're doing it last, where you get up, you go outside if it's your day off from school, and you go hang out with your friends until the sun goes down, right?
Yeah.
Or if you have
a bunch of bikes in the front yard.
Yeah, or you have a bunch of tasks. It's not like your parents are like, here's this to look at while we go do it. It's like, no, you got to run the errands with your parents, right? And you're helping them do groceries. You're helping them do other shit, right? It's like, I think that's been a drastic change, the loss recently. And when you comes with lack of movement, you get that your body starts kind of giving out on you and failing you.
I can get groceries delivered to my house. Yeah, without leaving my bed.
Just being beep up, boop up.
I can get food delivered. I can get whatever I want.
The food one's a scam though. The food one's a fucking scam.
Oh yeah.
It's here's your service fee, delivery fee, extra fee, Uber fee,
surprise fee,
gas fee.
Yeah.
And you're like, huh, $50 and I just wanted a McChicken.
But the fact that it still that people are still using it goes right in hand with your point of just people aren't moving as much.
Yeah, the comfortability of wanting to be complacent. Right?
Yeah. I'm not saying that everybody needs to go to join an MMA gym and become a killer or whatever.
It is super convenient to be able to make a Publix order and just wait an hour.
I hate that.
Oh, whatever, but yeah, I mean, me too. I'll go to the store still, but it's like, hey.
But dude, think about it. We have an entire generation of kids that are growing up right now that don't understand that that there was a time when people didn't have an option, that they had to go to a grocery store. They had to go to Best Buy.
I still hope that there's still enough in those generations that they have to still do that, hopefully. Yeah. But hey, it's there's a good point. I think as a society, so I won't call out insert generation, but I even see it with the middle-aged motherfuckers, dude. They're like, me. All right, my food's gonna come here in a second, and I'm like, I think it's just as a society we're becoming like that, and it's taking us away from just naturally moving more and making it and how that attributes to just overall health.
It's definitely not generational, because I know some old ladies were they discovered YouTube and for the next and that was the end of their life.
And middle-aged dads and stuff that are realizing what TikTok is and stuff. Sometimes a funny rabbit hole to go down.
That is such a...
But it's so interesting to be we're just here now. And it's not just Gen Z or younger millennials like myself. It's just it's everybody.
Yeah, TikTok started off with little girls dancing or whatever, and now it's everybody and their moms
everybody dancing.
There. Yeah.
Doing the same weird dances.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm usually on TikTok looking up I
don't even have TikTok, dude.
I'm not on TikTok, but I'm on YouTube.
Downloading that
but I'm on YouTube Shorts. Which is
you do make some. It's kind of funny.
Which is the same thing as TikToks, and it's.
I think it's the next. I thought it was gonna be the next dissolving of an insert second tier social media app platform. Mm-hmm. I'm good, man. Well, thank you. But what happened to Vine back in the day?
Well, Vine collapsed because they had a really poor system structure, and then when Twitter bought them out, that was the end of that.
That was yeah.
Yeah.
It was TikTok's kind of not on that structure.
No. TikTok's technological structure is absolutely bonkers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't want to get into that right now, though. Yeah.
You don't need me to. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah. I just know I don't have the app, and I'm trying to use my phone less, which is ironic being an instructor where you are constantly texting people to train or not.
Dude, I was gonna buy a flip phone to replace this one, but then I realized I can't. There's so much that I do, like the Phoenix app. I can't run that on a flip phone, and if that's something that's important to me, I'm like, well,
there's some importance to like the level of technology we have, right? Like,
yeah,
it's interesting, sad truth, but
yes. Which is why I decided, well, if I can't get rid of the phone, let me make a martial arts podcast, and that way I can maximize the use of the phone.
yeah, we can brainwash all these people that are watching right now.
Yes.
Yes. Believing into our opinions.
Yes. Hit the subscribe button, join the gym, and become a fighter.
Yeah, and the like button too. He forgot to say the like button. Hit the subscribe and like button and comment and share and do all that fun stuff.
Can you tell this is episode 1?
Well, I think we're supposed to say that at the front, right?
You're supposed to say in the front, in the middle, and then at the end.
Yeah, like you like bring it up a few times. You might have like some little like clicker at like the bottom corner of like the video, just casually there. Like that
spams every 5 seconds.
Like in this corner here, maybe.
Yeah.
Next to Rafa.
Speaking of which,
boom. Yeah, that guy.
Hell yeah. Oh yeah, and the Sean Fagan. We just wrapped up the Sean Fagan seminar. That was really dope.
Yeah, how was that?
It was really good. We learned a lot of switching back and forth between like orthodox and southpaw, because he said like his career, like he started seeing a lot of like he was always a good, decent fighter, but it wasn't like
he had a really decent career, like consistent career when he was over there.
And then when he learned how to fight as a southpaw, like going back and forth, is when he like really leveled up. Well, yeah, because think about it, because everybody's a freaking orthodox.
Hey, bro, I'm just putting this out there.
So everybody knows how to fight against an orthodox fighter,
including us southpaws that are natural southpaws.
But then, like, because you see, like, for every 100 orthodox fighters you meet one southpaw. But for the southpaw, he meets 100 orthodox guys.
It's great.
Before he meets a southpaw guy, and when he meets a southpaw guy, he's just fighting his own reflection. So he's used to that already.
It's so great.
So he taught us a lot of like different combos that set you up and put you into the southpaw stance, and just different ways to land it. So it wasn't just like 1 2 3, switch to southpaw, 1 2 3. No, it was like 1 2, switch, kick, and then throw, and then when you land back in southpaw, and then just boom,
deep step, nice with a straight.
And then cutting the angles. Oh my god, the angle cuts were so good.
Don't you love the angles as a southpaw? Isn't it great?
No.
You just step and turn to the right.
Yes.
It's that easy. It's that easy.
Yeah.
Now you turn your head slightly to the right, and then you punch.
And now your power hand is in the front. Lefty. He was like, the best part about being an orthodox that can fight southpaw is, when you hop in southpaw, now your power hand's in the front. So not only is it strong, it's also in the front. So it's really fast now. Because versus you have a fast close, you have a fast left, but it's not a lot of power there. But you're right. It's fast and power.
Well, I guess it's like the inverse. When I started getting more comfortable using orthodox, right? It's like now I'm switching. My left hand's now right in front of their face, and I can just sting my jab in there, and it just hurts a little more than like a normal jab from my right side, which is my normal jab side.
Yeah, and do that 15 times over the course of a 3-minute round. Yeah, that's gonna add up real fast.
Yeah. No, it's interesting dynamic when you start switch dancing and having someone of that depth of knowledge being able to show the gym that was pretty dope to hear.
Yeah. So when should people start learning how to switch between stances? From day one?
Ooh. Because I have a few questions on this one. What's the age?
Let's see. The age that most people get into Muay Thai is usually in their late teens, early 20s.
I will extend it. But let's break it up, right? So I would say in the teen to kid bracket, day one. Because the ability to absorb that information is so abundant. It's might as well take advantage of it, right?
Yeah.
Because you can show them balance within both stances.
And they're just sponges.
Yeah, and they'll pick it up, maybe not on the first day or week. Well, kids first day or two for sure. But adult, young teens and mid-teens, it'll take them maybe that week, if not, just to slow it, pick it up and start repping it better. So if you could do that from day one, I recommend that for those age groups. The 20s, that's hit or miss on are they a former athlete? Do they have an understanding of movement, body mechanics prior to this moment? Is this their first thing with moving the body? And then, dear God, the amount of intros I've done where I'm just all right, so this is your jab, it's your left hand, it's going to go out straight, and they do this. And I'm that's a right hook.
I see that.
All right,
I see that.
let's rewind. All right, so this is your jab. It's going to be in this center. Your left hand's going to go out. Your hips are going to, and then I'm like, and I throw it. I'm like, okay, this is going to take a while.
Yeah.
So like,
I see that in the Phoenix a lot too.
it's not unheard of to have once you start getting into those adult years, like not necessarily terribly uncoordinated. Like, of course, they can walk down the street, run, do things, but when you start applying the things of martial arts, like getting into a fight stance, incorporating how to throw a proper punch, how to throw a proper kick, a knee, an elbow, and that requires so much coordination that if it's foreign to you, it's gonna just take a little longer.
Yeah.
If you don't have the prior like prowess, like athletic prowess or fitness, right, or ability to
Body mechanics.
yeah, recognize body mechanics, right? If you are that individual, you'll probably be like a teenager, right? You'll take it on relatively quickly. Just may take a little more extra repetitions because you're older. That's it.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about that. But if it's like you're a little older, I would recommend if it is something that's confusing, right? You would definitely show them their comfortable stance first. Let them rep that for an extended period of time. Once they feel comfortable in that stance, then they could start, incorporating the switch stance in, right, in between their training.
Right.
Especially most members, they're not really competing, so it's like it's not going to hurt them, right?
Yeah, 99% of martial arts practitioners will never see a ring.
Yeah, it's not going to hurt them to do both or try.
It's just a thing to do, and it's fun to do.
So why not, right? It's like when we get in this whole like. In like Muay Thai and like, certain kicks aren't Muay Thai kicks, like throwing a crescent kick or an axe kick. I'm like,
that stuff works.
I'm like, well, no, baseline of it. Muay Thai is the art of 8 limbs. They don't really tell me like what kicks I'm supposed to throw in a fight.
Yeah.
They just tell you what tiers score higher, like clinch dumps are really good, knees to the body are really good, elbows that cut are amazing, kicks to the body and the leg are like
kidney kicks.
yeah, like god tier strikes, right? But they don't tell you, well, it has to be a round kick.
Yeah.
Like, if I can land this crescent kick on you, which I have to half y'all on the fight team, if y'all watch this, but that lead crescent kick, man, oh god, I am landing it on everybody at will. Because I can. And you can follow up with it too. So it's like, it's not unheard of to throw, unorthodox strikes in a certain martial art. You don't have to sit here and get that Thai shuffle the first like 6 months and only do that. Like you can formulate a little hop from your like karate days if you have that background, or if you want to start being like maybe not totally bladed, but you want to add a little bit more like fence with your lead foot, right, with your jab and stuff. And try it. It's not gonna hurt you.
For sure. No, I definitely see a lot of the messed up body mechanics in the Phoenix class as well.
Or your right cross.
Yeah. All right, perfect. All right, man. This was a really good first episode. I appreciate this so much. Couldn't think of a better person to do this with than you, actually.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yes.
We're gonna break down fights in the next one, I guess, or something, right?
Yeah. I had that listed over here as like things we were gonna talk about, but I'm like,
how much time do we got on this? Where are we at?
The cameras are already at over an hour, so
oof.
Yeah, and I only like kind of somewhat charged them, so I'm like, all right, it's definitely so this kind of sort of like an intro to like what we plan to be doing, where we just talk about all things martial arts related, all things fight related, and as many angles as possible. Obviously we're probably gonna have a bias towards kickboxing and Muay Thai and jiu-jitsu.
Not necessarily.
Yeah,
we can get like people on here that'll definitely show knowledge in different arts, right? Like their opinions on things, because you'll see the perspective changes when you watch an MMA fight with a wrestler, a Muay Thai fighter, a casual, a jiu-jitsu guy.
For sure, I've already talked to Armando. He's like, and he's definitely down to come on and just talk about things that you and I are gonna miss just because of his level of grappling is ridiculous.
Right? We can do like watch parties, bro, with that guy.
Hell yeah, and
about it.
Yeah, and Ordo agreed to come on. Ooh, and Sean Fagan, the Muay Thai guy, said yes, he's down to do a podcast.
That's good.
Talk about him and his journey, and I'm excited for that. I gotta get Robinson Galvez back on. Robinson who?
Robinson who?
Yeah.
No, it's good. It's a good little lineup. Hopefully in the future to get people to talk about their journeys, their experiences, their opinions on things. It's like it'll change. Mine is of someone who's like in the midst of their amateur fight career, and I just started my journey as an instructor. Like You got guys like, you know, one of my training partners he's mentioned, Ordo. Like,
Mhm.
he's got a wealth of knowledge and so much more experience in MMA and jiu-jitsu. Like,
Yeah.
that's gonna be so much knowledge dropped.
That guy's a beast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was watching his
Scary.
fights. I'm like, why was this guy never on like Bellator or?
He's the reason that I want to start throwing that crescent kick a lot. I'm like, oh well, he's doing it. I'm like,
It works
well, I'm just gonna start trying to do all these funky kicks.
for sure. So yeah. So hope you guys enjoyed this first episode. Yeah, closing statements.
We'll break down fights soon.
Yeah,
that's definitely going to be a part of this for sure. But digressing conversation and topics will happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not just going to be, I feel like, general martial arts conversations, but other things will be brought up because why not? You know,
For sure.
It doesn't hurt to talk about anything.
We can get into politics.
Nah.
To politics?
Fuck that. Too many motherfuckers get down that rabbit hole, and it's kind of annoying, dude. Right?
So who are you voting for?
Dude, what is voting?
Alright.
Don't even waste my time with that.
All right, folks.
I'll say real quick. Later in the month, we got a bunch of us fighting on May 20th in Plant City. I know it's local in Tampa and the Florida area, but there will be a stream on throwdownfights.com. If you guys are interested, if anyone whoever sees this, it'd be dope if you watch it.
For sure.
Thank you.
And June 3rd, Grappling Industries, one of Tampa's most popular grappling tournaments. There will not be a stream, but I will be posting the footage on my other channel, Rex Trains Martial Arts. So you could watch me get. Oh, speaking of Ordo, he's doing Absolutes, Masters.
Oh yeah.
And
so are you.
I'm doing it also. And so for those of you who don't know,
If you want to see like a
this
video.
is where I'm at, and I'm gonna pull this screen down a little bit. And
Stop, it's through the roof, buddy.
This is where Ordo's at.
It's through the roof. It's through the roof.
So
I want to see a black belt destroy a white belt.
So I'm
come watch.
So I'm gonna get heel hooked and lose my ankles, lose my knees.
Just tell him to go light on you, or no, tell him to take a fall. Like pay him under the table.
Yeah. Well, actually, because we're signed up under the same school.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah. RMNU, South Tampa Jiu Jitsu.
Yeah.
If we'll be on like opposite ends of the bracket. So odds are I'm probably not even gonna meet him.
So you start out the underdog and you finish like the first Rocky movie where you lose.
The Rocky movie where I get all the way to the top.
And then get like just sadly beaten.
I would lose my mind if I actually made it all the way to the end and got to face Ordo.
Bro, hey, it's a win. That's second place on the Masters.
Yeah, not like
absolute.
Yeah, I'm under no illusion that I'm gonna beat him, but I'm just gonna pretty much. I'm gonna make it as difficult as possible. If I do meet him, I'm gonna make it as difficult as possible for him to.
Dude, just rock
beat
paper
me.
scissors. Yeah, rock paper scissors. Shoot.
I'm just gonna pull guard and just ball up the entire time and just frame. I'm doing nothing but frame. I'm not even gonna go for a submission. I'm just gonna
stall
frame.
For 10, 5 minutes, whatever the mark is for you guys.
I'll make him beat me on points, not by submission. Ooh, if I can pull that off, I'll consider that a win.
You won't.
Listen. Don't take my dreams from me.
If you guys rolled right now, I'd start a timer and give it like
30 seconds.
15 seconds. 15 seconds. I lasted 30 seconds with it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even like, it was just more so like, all right, which arm is he gonna take?
And he's probably just messing around too.
He was. It was funny. He was laughing. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, dude. I'm like, kind of, but not really.
Yeah. All right, folks.
And it was right after training. I was like, this is a terrible idea.
All right, folks. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. We'll be back in about probably 2 weeks and for the next episode. And I'm working on scheduling the podcast with Sean Fagan. And have a great rest of your day, folks.
No catchphrase yet.
No catchphrase. We're working on that.